I'm sure most of you have heard of the Pokebank application by now. It allows you to store Pokemon online using your 3DS. But it wasn't the first of its kind. What came first was an abomination of pointless features, the GameCube game, Pokemon Box, Ruby and Sapphire. I guess I just lied, because this isn't really a game. No, this is just some kind of expansion for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on the Game Boy Advance. And since it was such a pointless game, not many people bought it, making it one of the rarer GameCube games.
The game came in this white cardboard box because it came with a Game Boy Advance controller cable and a memory card. We all know what people did with these cardboard boxes, they threw them away, which is why the games with the box can demand outrageous prices online.
I bet you want to see what this actually does. Well, let's take a look. It is a Pokemon game after all, so it can't be that bad. Can it?
So we're greeted by this title screen, and I have to say, I do enjoy the Ruby and Sapphire title screen music not being restricted by the Game Boy Advance's sound quality.
But that's just the icing on this crazy storm of pointless ass features.
So this game has two real features, the Pokemon Box feature, which allows you to store Pokemon from the Pokemon Game Boy Advance games on your GameCube. This feature works with all 5 Game Boy Advance Pokemon titles. The other feature allows you to play only Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on a TV, which is utterly pointless because this came out in North America in 2004, while the Game Boy Player came out in 2003, so this was released a whole year later. Why would you want to play this when you can play any Game Boy Advance game in the Game Boy Player much easier?
Let's have a look at the basic setup.
So I select Go to Pokemon Box, and it asks me to connect a Game Boy Advance with a Ruby or Sapphire card in it to controller port 2. Simple enough. What the fuck? Why do I need to be in a Pokemon Center to use the Pokemon Box feature? What were the programmers thinking when they came up with this shit? It's so annoying to boot up the game and go to a Pokemon Center and save the game again. What a waste of time. Time to get to a Pokemon Center. So I've gone to a Pokemon Center. Now let's try this again. Huh? My game booted up. Why didn't it connect? Oh, because you need to go back to the menu after the game tells you to go to a Pokemon Center. If I wanted it to stop searching for my game, I would have cancelled it myself. So now we finally get into something in this Game Freak forsaken game. We're given 2 modes to try out, if these are even worthy of being labelled as modes at all. Arrange boxes is the main feature of the game, so to speak. You can transfer Pokemon from your Game Boy Advance game to your memory card, which has way more space to store Pokemon. The only problem with this is, you don't fucking need this! There is no way, even with one of every Pokemon, I would even fill up the boxes in the Game Boy Advance games. So unless you catch and hoard every wild Pokemon you find, there is no way you need this. It doesn't offer any new information about your Pokemon either. The box claims, the ultimate utility for the Pokemon Maniac is here. If only Pokemon Maniacs buy this, then why doesn't it display EVs or IVs in some way, and what stats your Pokemon's nature increases and decreases? What a waste of potential.
This is one of the most uninnovative features in any game I've ever seen. But let me tell you, at least a small percentage of people will find the extra storage space useful. No one, I repeat no one, will have any use at all whatsoever for the lowest of the low, the most pointless ass feature in any game in the entirety of existence, Showcase Mode.
So what's the idea? You place your Pokemon on a stage. Yeah, sounds fucking amazing, doesn't it? But the Pokemon aren't even in 3D or anything. They're just these stupid display case things. Oh yeah, check it out, a picture of a love disc on a wooden sign. I'm a fucking artist. Even the display that shows up on the title screen looks ridiculous. Got a bunch of Corsola? Well, now you can make them all appear on your screen and stare at them all you want.
It's amazing. This has to be something they rushed out. Oh shit, we need to quickly add a new feature to this game. Let's put stationary Pokemon sprites in lame displays. Genius! I've had enough of this. Let's move on to the adventure mode.
Okay, this isn't anywhere near as bad as those other things. Unlike the box features, you don't have to be saved in a Pokemon Center to even be able to use this mode. You turn on the Game Boy Advance with the Pokemon game in it on the boot up screen, so it can read your save file. Alright, not so bad. Now we're finally actually playing something decent.
But they had to fuck it up somehow.
Every time you want to save the game, this stupid window pops up, so you need to turn your Game Boy back on and wait for it to save. Fuck. Shit. The game saved ages ago. Why is it taking you so long? Finally. Why the hell does it need to take so long to save? I can only imagine how they could have fucked it up more. Like, every wild Pokemon you encounter, you need to turn the Game Boy back on so it can fucking load. You can leave the Game Boy on the whole time to make this process go quicker, but that's a waste of power, so I want to plug in the charger, right? Well, this thing covers up the damn charger port. Who designed this thing? You can also take pictures to change the background of the boxes in the box mode. After you take a shot, it tells you to go save the game in the box mode again. Okay, so I save my game and exit, go to the box, and... Fuck!
This is when you throw this game out and you go buy a Game Boy player. The only reason you would have bought this back in the day is if you wanted to play Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on a TV real bad, but you didn't have enough money to buy a Game Boy player. And even then, I'd feel really bad if I knew people had to deal with this shit. This may be one of the worst things associated with Pokemon ever. But you know what the worst part is? This isn't even the worst Pokemon game on GameCube.
Thanks for watching my first review. Since it's my first one, I don't have another review to refer you to. But I also do Let's Plays, but I haven't done anything Pokemon related yet. But hey, if you like Pokemon, you must like other Nintendo stuff, right? I've done Let's Plays of the Donkey Kong Country trilogy for Super Nintendo. Here's a link to the first one of those. One of my viewers, the Scott Spot, has started a Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country Returns. I think he's doing a great job, so go check that out too. Don't forget to subscribe for more reviews and Let's Plays in the future. Thanks again, and I'll see you later.